Hello, fellow riders, and welcome back to our channel. So we flew from Pittsburgh to St. Louis over the weekend to go to Six Flags St. Louis. This is our first time at this park. As you can see, they have the same setup as all the Six Flags parks, where you can choose to buy a mask if you didn't bring one, but everybody does need a mask to enter the park. You then enter through this tent system that says your temperature, so you would not be able to enter the park if you did have a temperature. Then, as usual, they are not checking bags anymore if you do not, make anything go off at the airport style, security screening, which is really nice and super fast to get in. As you can see, they have the plexiglass at all the ticket booths, and they're taking all the necessary precautions there. And to note, yes, you do have to wear your mask everywhere in the park at Six Flags St. Louis. This is a smaller entrance than normal. It is a little different than the normal kind of straight back entrances that they normally have at Six Flags, but it was really pretty. We got our flash passes first, and we were there for 2 days, so we got different ones every day. Thunder River is Six Flags St. Louis water ride. You don't really get that wet. I mean, I got kind of wet, but my husband didn't really get that wet. But it was a really fun ride, and it was really pretty. It actually kind of looped around Mr. Freeze. So the nice part about it is you could see the rides on either side of you going while you were on it. There's me. Hello. It was super hot. It was like in the 90s, 80s, 90s. Six Flags, of course, has the antique car ride. This one is super short, but as tradition would have to have it, we, of course, rode them and tested them out. But it was just a short, quick little loop around. The cool thing was, as you could just see, you went underneath American Thunder. So that was pretty cool. So starting with some coasters, American Thunder, they had the 3 best wooden roller coasters that I've rode in a long time. This roller coasters used to be named Evel Knievel, but they changed it due to licensing. And it reminded me of Mystic Timbers, but on a smaller scale. So not as intense as a Mystic Timbers, but absolutely something similar. And it was just an all-around great wooden roller coaster. I notoriously do not love wooden roller coasters, especially ones that are a little older. Of course, I mean, who doesn't like the brand new wooden roller coasters? But yeah, the ones that are a little older, they're so rough, and a lot of times I just don't love them. I like a smooth ride. And the 3 wooden roller coasters that St. Louis has, they must take care of them extremely well because they all were amazing. And this one was no exception to that. Again, same as Mystic Timbers, but on a smaller scale. Good family ride as well. Like kind of like a first maybe wooden roller coaster kind of thing for the kids. They had a log flume that we rode. Justice League, of course, was closed. All the Justice Leagues are closed, indefinitely right now. A lot of people like to drink at Six Flags St. Louis, which I thought was kind of shocking. It's not like that with all the parks. Definitely is with Darien Lake. Shout out Darien Lake. People are always trying to drink there. But JB's Grill or Sports Bar was the place that people went a lot. And we had a couple of our meals there. They accepted the meal plan, and it was super good. There was pulled pork stuff and wings, and they actually, you can tell they obviously freshly make them every single day because it smelled super good around there. So definitely recommend JB Sports Bar.
The Boss, this was the best ride at the park, hands down. This is an original wooden roller coaster. What I loved about it is there were so many tall drops and speed throughout the whole ride. It is an extremely long ride as well. You feel like you're on it for a long time. And I really like the atmosphere. It's really hard to film any of it because it's way out in the woods. And I always think that that is super pretty when you're kind of riding that wooden roller coaster through the woods, get the nature feel. And this one, we rode it a bunch of times because it was so much fun. Screaming Eagle was John Allen's last coaster before he died. You get amazing airtime on the front or back. The only bad thing about the back seats of roller coasters at Six Flags St. Louis, and I think this was an oversight in my opinion, was they had the very last seat blocked off on all the roller coasters. And I don't know why, because if they're, they didn't have to, there would be even more space, if they would have used the last seat. I know they're blocking off every other seat, but I think that was an oversight because a lot of coaster fanatics, I know for us, we love to ride the front and then we'll wait for the back, or vice versa, depending on the line. We'll ride the very, very back seat and wait for the front seat. So I know it's only one seat off, but I think it does make a little bit of a difference when you ride the absolute very last seat. And it was a little bit of a bummer that on any ride that was blocked off. So if I had one suggestion, it would be to block off 2 rows before the last seat. Batman. Six Flags has a bunch of these at their parks. If you've seen any of our other videos, we've ridden this coaster a bunch of times this year. There's actually 12 of these coasters in the world. Some of them are in other different parks that aren't Six Flags, but there are 12 of this same exact coaster out in this world. It's a mid to late 90s coaster, and it's nice. I will say I hate these kind of restraints with a passion, which you'll see some a little bit later on. But this one's not so bad. It's not, the actual roller coaster track itself is not so rattly that you're banging your head the whole time. So I like it. It's definitely a nice addition to the park. Tornado Tsunamis, they looked a little run down, but people loved them. They looked like they were a lot of fun. This is the chicken nachos from Macho Nachos. Same kind of style food Six Flags has at all their parks, but I love Six Flags foods. I never thought I would because we were spoiled with so many years having the Cedar Fair food pass and food plan, and Cedar Fair definitely takes pride in its unique food options. I will say Six Flags options are less unique, but you can definitely find amazing stuff at the park. It's just a little less unique than Cedar Fair. I will say Cedar Fair absolutely wins in the food department, but hey, Six Flags does a great job. Mr. Freeze. I like the outside of this Mr. Freeze better than the Mr. Freeze in Texas. Six Flags Over Texas, which we rode a couple weeks ago. I did not do a video on that park because we did not have a great experience at the park. But their Mr. Freeze was themed a lot better. Like the inside was really dark. It was like you were in the ice cream or whatever factory. Whereas this one was pretty bright inside. It was a lot different. It just was not themed anywhere. It was still themed, don't get me wrong. It was just, not themed anywhere close to the other one. But with that being said, they were riding both sides. So the line went super fast. You could go in and out of it and with no problem. And the ride operators were super nice. They were awesome in all the rides, really. In St. Louis, I will say they were pretty fast. I want to say that I didn't talk to my husband about this, so he might disagree, but they were probably the fastest ride ops we've experienced with Six Flags so far. So they were definitely on the ball. And actually, Six Flags St. Louis has the second highest attendance of all their parks this year. And it was pretty crowded when we went as well. It just seems like people are really excited to be at the park. Pandemonium. It is your classic adult wild mouse, so it's a little more wild, per se, than a wild mouse. but still little kids can ride it. And I like this one a lot better than the Ragin' Cajun style Wild Mouse at Six Flags America, because this one you did have more restraints on you. Normally I like less restraints, but in this case I did like more, because when you're spinning around and around and around, it's kind of hard to hold on at times with ones that you just have the seatbelt. So actually in this case I like the restraints because you get less dizzy after you step off of it. Ninja. This one was one that you have to ride to add it to your list, but you really don't feel the need to ever ride it again, if you know what I mean. And the reason why is these restraints. So I have a burning hate for these restraints. It must be some sort of local law that they have to have those over the head restraints on this type of ride. It's just so uncomfortable. It really just makes the whole experience annoying. I wish they didn't have them. Chopsticks was awesome. We ate there a couple times. It's their Panda Express fast Asian Chinese style food, but they give you really big portions. So we only have one food pass and we split it, and that's enough. River King Mine Train was unexpectedly good. Boomerang. Boomerang is Six Flags St. Louis' newest coaster at 7 years old. Now, there is tons of these style coasters out there. I've ridden them a bunch of times. Actually, usually we skip them just because we've ridden them so many, but of course we had to ride it here since it is their newest one. Nice and smooth. But with that being said, I really, in my opinion, I think Six Flags St. Louis is definitely due for a new roller coaster, especially due to the fact that they were allowed to be open this year. Number one, the local government wasn't trying to hold them back. And number two, their attendance was good. Again, much less than normal, but still at least it was, among the top Six Flags attendances. So I really think that they deserve to have a new roller coaster put in. And I really think it would do. The park's got a really nice lineup now. I actually prefer this park over Six Flags America because of the 3 wooden roller coasters that we could ride those all day. And I really think that this park would really do well with a brand new roller coaster. Hurricane Harbor. Now, this was also a newish addition to the park, and it didn't have that much going on, but it was honestly the perfect size for this park. I especially have a new love for water parks now with the fact that you don't have to wear a mask in the water park. So I will be on the lazy river for 3 hours just from a break from the wearing a mask in 90-degree heat. Of course, you need a mask to get food or anything like that when you're around people. But when you're actually on the water rides or on the lazy river, you don't have to have your mask on. And it is nice to kind of, get the mask off, to say the least, when it is 90 degrees out. They have, these 2 classic big water slides. The lines were not long at all, and they seem to be proficient in, getting people down the rides. They have the racers. These ones, you get major airtime on that last bump. We take the racers extremely seriously. We were flying off them. And this lazy river, like I said, I think we spent 3 hours, maybe 4 or 5 hours total over a couple days there on the lazy river. And it was a really pretty lazy river. They actually had rocks and stuff in the lazy river. I'm sure that causes injuries, but it was really pretty. They had this little tube slide area. And then they have, of course, the wave pool, which I'll show in a minute. The Big Kahuna, which is a family slide. It's those ones that are in the big circle ones, and they actually had a lift to bring the tube up on that one. They had a nice kids area. It looked, I don't know if it's newer than everything else, but it looked like it was new. They had a couple places to eat. pizza, burgers, and there was like an ice cream kind of place. The volcano was awesome. It looked really cool because that was kind of the first thing you see when you drive into the park too. The only thing that was closed at the water park, and honestly, plus Justice League, is those 2 drop slides. And I'm not a big, huge fan of drop slides. I don't really care about them, so I didn't mind. This was the exit on the way out. Like I said, people were there from open to close. It was crowded and busy, and people seemed to be really excited to be there. But the lines were not long. You got in and out, and it was a really good experience. Okay, on to Holiday Inn St. Louis West. This hotel is right beside the park, which we love because we didn't have to drive to the park. We could literally walk there and walk back. It's about 0.4 or a half of a mile from the back of the parking lot. So it just takes it's a 10-minute walk. You just kind of go through the woods. The rooms are your classic Holiday Inn rooms. And I had to leave this in, but I was trying to film this review for you guys. And obviously I'm brand new at this. I just wanted to do this as a hobby, and I completely wiped out and almost broke that glass table. Thank God I didn't. But it was a little embarrassing. I still have black and blue marks on my shins from that. And I probably will have them for a while because it was a wipeout. But anyways, this hotel was super fun. People had like pizza and drinks at night. It seemed like everyone from the amusement park kind of came back here. There was this little diner style restaurant that had a couple things. The arcade wasn't on, but it did look fun. But I have a couple photos here. There was a hot tub and a pool, and it was packed. Like, it was so much fun, and it was open until 10 every night. So pretty much after the park, tons of people came back here, and it was just a blast. And we were in the hot tub like for a while and swam in the pool, and it was literally like just the atmosphere of the hotel was so nice. And the ladies at the front desk, I actually had to work a little bit, had a couple meetings, and the ladies at the front desk let me be in like this private area for a little bit, and it was really nice because I was able to get work done. So they were really accommodating. Then we came back home, and of course we put our magnets on our 2020 magnet board, and thank you.